Welcome to the Daybreakstar Radio Network. Our motto, what we say all the time when the mics go hot here in the control room in Seattle, the home base of the Daybreakstar Radio Network, of course, the only radio network indigenized in the airways. And as a radio network, we love to interview not just music artists, actors, influencers, people that mean a lot to us in all of our different communities, all of our different cities, all of our different countries, because we're international, that listen to the Daybreakstar Radio Network. We're honored today to have the man of the hour. We all know him by Cody Lightning, and I believe you're coming to us from Edmonton. Is that right?
That's correct. I'm Treaty 6 territories up in Alberta, Canada.
Nice. Welcome aboard. Thank you for joining Ronnie and I for this amazing interview. I'll kick it off. And echo that we were just talking about here off the air. You play, of course, the role of Cousin Biscuits. Could you please share what drew you to this character and the series overall for all of our listeners?
Well, yeah. So when I got the audition for it, the audition piece was different than Biscuits because of how private Marvel is with everything. So I had a separate audition piece. I did what I thought was the best I could at that piece, turned it in, and when I got the call that I got the part, they said, "Oh, so we want to offer you the role of Biscuits." And I was like, "Wait, Biscuits? I think the character in there was Sam." And they're like, no, it's Biscuits. That's just an audition piece. I was like, oh, okay. So it's something different. And they're like, oh yeah. And they let me know what the details of the character entailed. And it was just a match made in heaven for me. Had to learn ASL for that, some sign language. My sign is a little bit rusty and slow now because I'm not fully immersed in it. With other deaf coworkers and stuff like that. But I was able to pick that up and get my lines down and stuff like that for the character and work with some really amazing people on that. And so when I first got the call, you're going to be in Marvel, my brain starts going nuts. I'm like, do I got to get buffed? Do I got to work out? What do I got to do? I don't know. Yeah. And then I was speaking with Sydney Freeland, one of the directors, and a bunch of the producers on a Zoom. And she was like, "Cody, we love you how you are." And I was like, "Oh, dad bod and all." And I was like, "Nice." So I got to keep my poochie belly, which was rad. And it was cool to just have fun with that character and joke around and be the cousin that we all have. We all have one of those cousins in the family that you can go to for help and we'll always be there and we'll never say no to you. And it's just kind of like a puppy dog for you. And I'm glad I was able to bring that to the table with the character.
One of my favorite lines real quick is expect the unexpected. And I think that definition right there just absolutely highlights your success.
Yeah.
One question that we don't have on this list that I do got to ask, there's that one scene where you come out and Alako Cox is getting out of a car or truck, I can't remember, and you're holding that box and you got that big block of government cheese on there. And I'm just like, I have a legitimate question. Did y'all have the government cheese up in Canada? Like that was a staple to us natives down here. I remember going every Friday afternoon with my mom, picking it up, going to the church, getting the bread.
Oh yeah, man. You got your flour, your big block of cheese, the bear lard and, mystery meat, oh yeah, it was the same.
So I got to know, how is the role of Echo a challenge for you compared to other roles that you've had previously? I know that you guys, I previously talked with Alako Cox, and she was amazed that all of you guys took the time to actually learn ASL. And I thought that was amazing. But beyond that, there had to be a lot of challenges.
Well, and then, so we were down there for 6 months working on that bad boy. And there's a few things. So I've never had to, because the budget is so big, because it's Marvel, there's a lot more cushion and stuff like that. If for weather, I've been on independent film sets where you have exterior shots and it starts raining and it's like, okay, day's done. There, it's like, we can come back and do this tomorrow. On an independent film set, it's like, if we don't get this today, we're SOL. It's like, so you do what you can to get all your coverage, your footage, your shots and everything. There's a lot more cushion. So that was interesting. And then also just like with the budget as well, like seeing them rent out city blocks, and it's just so huge, you know. You working in that heat. Oh man, that Georgia heat in the middle of summer was brutal. And I sweat a lot. So I think after each take, they had 4 or 5 PAs with fans come up to like fan me down because I was drenched constantly in sweat. Yeah, I'm not used to working in that humidity.
It's like colder.
Oh yeah, I'm an ice hockey player, so I'm used to cold hockey rinks and minus 20 or 30 in the wintertime.
Crack in. I get it.
You've been recognized, Cody, for your performances since your youth, including a nomination, which is huge, for Best Performance in a Feature Film supporting a youth actor for Smoke Signals. Looking back, how do you think that early recognition has shaped your career overall?
Well, yeah, I've been in the film industry for over 30 years. It's crazy to think it's been that long because I still, feel young. But, I, as an actor growing up, I had a different outlook on life. I had a different upbringing than most. It was very unique. And with that, I was able to build resiliency. And that's something I would love for our younger people to realize that want to come into the industry. And it's not just with acting and filmmaking, but music, art, powwow, anything is the rejection that you get a lot. You get rejected quite a bit. And to just have that thick skin, I know if you're from like a smaller town or a smaller reserve, you're not used to all the exposure and stuff like that. If you put yourself out there and you get told no, it can bum you out, and a lot of people will fold. And it's unfortunate because a lot of our stories don't get told because of that reason. And so just to stay strong, and I know it might be cliche to say, but if I can do it, anyone can do it. Is if you want to do it, you can. Yeah. I know people that have had small ideas that turn into huge opportunities, and vice versa. Like a great idea, but no drive. And just like, they get told they have a couple doors closed on them. So they go, oh, well, not meant to be. But, being told no 5 times over here, you'll get told no yes 1 time over here. So just to keep at it, or how they say, stay on the grind or something. But like, it's easier said than done, unfortunately, to say that but to actually do it and live it and do your best at it. And also your support systems are very, very important. I'm lucky to have a really good support system. It's a family unit. My mom and my sister and I all were in the industry together. And so we've all been able to help each other on our journey as a family to do this. And, having those accolades at a young age, it could go 1 or 2 directions. It can get to your head. I've seen some people come in the industry, they get some like fame, so to say, and then goes to their head, and then, boom, crash. And it sucks because these are very talented, wonderful people, but a lot of us aren't used to that kind of attention and that. So to stay humble and, stay connected, is very, very important. And yeah, I'm very fortunate that I've had the support system for when I was getting these things to keep my head on straight. But I'm not perfect. I've had a roller coaster of a life too, man. When I was down, I was very down, and my mental and spiritual well-being were not the best, and and then you come out of that. But we're resilient. Indigenous people, we're very resilient, so we can keep moving forward. Even trekking through the mud if we have to, we'll get there. And yeah, so to get those accolades at a young age and to get them now currently, it's with this project, Hey Viktor, that I've been working on, the amazing stuff coming to it and from it is just, it's a blessing. It's truly a blessing.
So speaking of that, for us natives growing up, a lot of us, Smoke Signals was a staple to us because, we didn't have, especially here in the U.S., we didn't have a lot of, native culture we could watch on TV and stuff like that. So it was always really awesome. And now you've gone and made a new film, not necessarily a sequel, but I need to know what made you take the leap and inspired you to make Hey Viktor? Like, what was, I got to make Hey Viktor, and the way you did.
So Hey Viktor is not, I repeat, is not Smoke Signals 2. I have to be very clear about that. It is a really dysfunctional comedy, a mockumentary based on the lives of me and the other actors of Smoke Signals 25 years later. So we all play fictionalized versions of ourselves. That's very important for people that haven't seen it to not come in going, oh, Smoke Signals 2. No. And if you've seen the trailer, you'd know this is not Smoke Signals, or like, part 2 of it. But I have a very vulgar, crass sense of humor in my life. And I wanted to bring that, to the screen with, my co-stars and some new faces as well. I have Hannah Cheeseman there, who plays, my best friend and my manager, Conway Kootenay, Roseanne Supernault, Colin Mockery, the king of improv. We got him in there. So that's awesome. And we've been doing so well. We had our world premiere at Tribeca Film Festival in New York. We were in Toronto International Film Festival. We've gone all throughout the US and Canada. It was just in Maryland Film Festival, France, Germany. It's going all over.
Wow.
Unfortunately, it's only available up here in Canada now. It's in theaters right now up here. We didn't get any American distribution. So our international distributor is going to be working on a deal for us to get it to the States, because there has been quite a few, requests for it. Especially down in like LA, New Mexico, San Francisco, and in Idaho as well. A lot of people want to see it. So we're trying to work on a deal for it to come down there. Unless for some reason you're flying to Canada on Air Canada, you'll be able to watch it there, because we just signed a deal with them. So it'll be on a few different airlines too, which I don't know how it's going to be, because we have so much. I think we dropped the F-bomb at least 310 times on it in that movie. And I have full frontal nudity. So we did have to submit a censored version, which is kind of like a silent film.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
And you just described it, and you helped me out here on our next question. Obviously the fictionalized version with the whole mockumentary, side and twist to it. If you could just please describe to us the creative process with that blending fiction element and into your real life, and how you want to, in your own words, as an actor, as a successful actor, how you want to build shape out that flight plan.
Yeah, so this was very very personal project, very close to me. And, it all started as a joke about 15, 20 years ago with some friends. I was living in Idaho at the time. And it was just a joke of like, what if we go to a restaurant or a bar or the casino or something, and you just act all rambunctious and, pompous, arrogant, and we're getting kicked out, and he's like, don't you know who I am? I was little Viktor. And like, people have no clue what the hell that even means. And like getting carried out by the waist or denied access to the club. Like, I'm Viktor. That's me. Hey, Viktor, it's me. Like, we did that as a joke. And then there was a pitch at an Imaginative Film Festival that we were going to just make a short film with me and Simon Baker, the two child actors of Smoke Signals later. Like, what are you doing in your life? Like, how's your life and career been? And how's your life and career been? So we didn't win that pitch, but a lot of people in that session came up and said, this can be a feature film or this could be a series. And we're like, whoa. And so I wrote it with my partner, Sam Miller, and we pitched that around. And like I said, we got told no a few times, but finally Telefilm up here said, yeah, we were able to fund it and make it. So then it's like, how much of your real life do you want to put in there? How much of you do you want in there? And when we actually wrote it, I gave it to a casting director that I've known for years, since I was a little boy. And they read it and they were like, oh my gosh, your first feature. I would be so honored to like help you with your first feature. And I'm like, yes. They read it. And about 2 hours later, I got a phone call and I was like, hey, what do you think? And this was it. So, okay, it is funny However, are you sure you want to put yourself out there like this? And I was like, yeah, why? She's like, well, Cody, what if people think this is real? Like, that's really how you are. And I was like, I don't care. That's the part of it. That's the humor. Like, I'm influenced by shows like the Trailer Park Boys and Borat and Bruno, like those really over the top, push the envelope styles of comedy. So I said, I'm willing to. And these types of movies aren't getting made. My film is very unique. It's not, there was a lot of period pieces coming out for how many years? For centuries. And there wasn't anything edgy, in my opinion. That's just my opinion, that could get people laughing, or might offend some people. Some people might see it and be like, oh, I'm not okay with that. But you know what? I'm not perfect. And especially with comedy, you have to be willing to go there. And if you go there, you got to go all in or not at all, because people will pick up on that. So that's what we did. And I was able to incorporate my wild, crazy sense of humor with this fictionalized version. Just really doesn't care, alcoholic, just, thinking only for himself kind of person, which is not me. And I was, able to blend those two. And to direct it as well, I had no intentions on directing it. I just wanted to write and act in it. And I said, there's about 3 people that come to mind that I trust to direct this thing. And my producers were just like giving me a weird look. I was like, why are you guys all looking at me like that? What's going on here? And they're like, you're directing this. And I was like, what? They're like, oh yeah. Because of the entry version, written, directed, starred Cody Lightning, you're doing that for the actual film. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be nuts. And so, it worked, and it's been very successful.
It has. It's
hopefully that answers.
Absolutely.
It did. I'm gonna make several TikTok videos out of that whole conversation right there.
Sacha Baron Cohen used to be one of my favorite actors, and I loved Bruno and Borat. So I was gonna actually ask you if it's one of your role models.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I love people that put it all out there, that don't, I would rather live life and have projects where I'm being told to calm down than to have to turn it up. Yeah. I'd rather have, other filmmakers say, well, maybe not so much, than to go, come on, you got more in you, So I don't want to live with shoulda, woulda, couldas.
Right. That I completely understand.
Oh yeah.
I get told to tone it down here all the time. So and like you said, you've been out at now all of these film festivals. You said the film is doing well. I got to know, how did you react? Like, you've gotten nominations for like best lead performance in a comedy film, best original screenplay along this journey so far. How have you been reacting to that? I mean, it's got to be awesome to know that the people are loving this film.
So one thing that I have to continue to work on is imposter syndrome. Because of certain things in my life, it's like, really? Like me? Like, I deserve this? Am I worthy of this? And it's like, yeah, like my friends have said for years. And that's just because of stuff that I've had go on in my life, or that's happened to me, where I'm like, I don't deserve this. Like, why am I getting this? And it's like, no, I deserve this. Like, I'm worthy. Like, even if I don't win, like, I'm in a category of people that I belong there with. And that's like, I'm still not getting used to that, because I've had that in my past, but now it's on a new level. Like the stakes are higher. So just getting that, like, putting all the stuff that's happened to me in the past behind, and realizing and really coming to terms and accepting that, yeah, I do belong here. We all belong here. We all belong in this. And like, I don't look at things as like, this is me and this is mine. Like in the film, I'm very greedy and like this crazy dude who just wants it all for himself. I'm more of there's enough at the table for all of us. Like, I want all of us to come up. So when my friends and my family, people I know, are doing well, or they're getting work, I'm so hyped and excited and glad. And so I've been getting a lot of messages from people just saying like, thank you for opening doors, man. And thank you for just being yourself. And thank you for being unapologetic about who you are. And that's what really, it means the world.
The film industry has seen, and we all know this, significant changes over the years, just like the music business, just like in any industry. How would you say you've adapted your approach to acting and filmmaking in this evolving landscape throughout your 30-plus year career?
Well, it's different project to project or role to role, and some people have asked me about like directing now. My style of directing on this is very individual to this project. It's unique to this project. So the next film that I'm going to be making, my style and my approach will be different. There's some things that I'll continue to do the same, but different. So every year, every project, you're growing and growing. And then also with life and life experiences, you grow and you go through things, you go through hardships, you go through marriage, divorce, kids, death, all kinds of stuff throughout your life that affect you. And it's tough, like for me, wanting to make comedies when I'm going through some really heavy stuff in real life. It's hard. And I seen a Vanity Fair of Jeremy Renner, and he was saying, like, in some of his filming, you're on set and you're working, and then you go and you check your phone and you have really horrible news, and it's like, oh my gosh. And you got to put that aside and you got to get back into it, and you got to stay there. So throughout the years, I've learned to handle my hardships and the things that have impacted me, not negatively, but that have really been hurtful or dark in my life, to use as more motivation to, create what I want to create. And I wasn't getting those opportunities to act in the types of roles I really felt passionate about. So now I'm creating them, but not just for myself, for others. Like, I get to create and give to others. There's a lot of roles out there that I'm creating in my projects that are for very unique people. And I'm excited to be able to showcase that. I was the one being showcased in the past. Now I get to showcase others and bring others up. So that's like number one. So the growth of, auditioning, getting something and just being an actor, to now having a broader view and spectrum of everything, to now I'm able to create and man the ship and bring others up to hopefully plant some seeds for some other branches to grow, So just to be a part of that is amazing. So that's kind of, the growth of it.
Kudos to you, Cody, for doing that too. Because, a lot of people in the entertainment business, they only think about themselves. They don't think about giving back. They don't think about the next future generation. And I've been in the industry, a little bit longer than you have. And that's the mentality to have. It's pushing next round of players to perform and, get that jersey on the court. And like you said earlier, losing that ego, because I've seen so many people throughout my career they can't fit their head into a room, and then you look 2 or 3 years down the road, where are they at now? And it's really it's on them that they're not in the business because they did it to themselves.
Yeah, 100%.
So to expand on all of that, our last question here, as it were, what advice, you've kind of given a little bit, but what advice would you really give for Native youth aspiring to make it in the entertainment world today?
Be open to collaborating. Also be careful of who you share your ideas with. I know, and this is something I still heavily have to work on. I have an idea, or I want to make something. I want to tell everyone, because I want everyone to go, oh man, I want to be a part of that. But unfortunately, there's some people out there that just aren't good, and they'll take an idea, or they'll push bad energy on it. And it's unfortunate, because when I have an idea, I want to share it with everyone. So to get people motivated and hyped up. But to just be careful with who you decide to share your ideas with. And when you select a team of people, whether that's a group of friends, if you end up going to a film school or performing arts program or an arts program or music or whatever it is, to be open to collaborating and having constructive criticism, and don't take things personal. Try your best to not take things personal and to the heart. Sometimes you can come across someone that's nasty. It's projection onto you. You're doing it. You're making the steps, you're showing up, and just continue to do that, and you will catch a break. You will catch a break. Also, because of my career path and how I've kind of paved the way for myself, attend as many film festivals as you can. Go there. Maybe take a public speaking class. Get comfortable with the uncomfortable. I know it's tough for someone who's maybe more introverted to go out there and share themselves and meet people and be that charismatic being in the room. And it's tougher for some people, but again, just being comfortable with the uncomfortable and getting yourself out there. And then you'll be able to really get in those doors to share your stories, and people will want to, like-minded people will want to collaborate and connect with you. Because overall, the majority of people wish you well. They want the best. They want to be a part of something cool. But yeah, there are those small percentage of, I don't say leeches, but just like energy vampires and people that just don't have your best interests at heart, to just, really have select your support system wisely and to just be who we've been as Indigenous people for years, and that's resilient.
Well said.
Very well said. Very well said. Well, I want to thank you so much for speaking with us. I think I'm a huge fan, and my face is starting to hurt from smiling so much because you're sitting there. I hope so much that we get to see a cousin Biscuits again in the Marvel universe. I'm really hoping for that. I want to. I can't remember his name. From the Ant-Man movies, I want to see Cousin Biscuits with him, and then just do a recap of everything.
Oh, like Paul Rudd, or
yeah, that's right. Otherwise, I can't wait for Hey Viktor to get here to the U.S. I'm just really excited to see that as a Smoke Signals fan, and I wish you much, much more success on that. I know it's going to be good, and maybe we'll get a Hey Viktor too. Thank you so much for speaking with us, and yeah. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.